Now, if there was one player currently in the league with a playing style from the past you had to name, Milan Lucic would most likely come to mind, as the forward is considered one of few enforcers currently left in the NHL. Even still, this is a Jerk Moments video, so let's get to the big picture. Lucic over the years has gained the reputation of being a dirty player, one that isn't afraid to take a good headshot or sucker punch his opponent every now and then. And in result, Lucic has compiled a sizable list of jerk moments. And with that, here are the top jerk moments from Milan Lucic. A season after, teammate at the time, Brad Marchand, decided to stick it to the Canucks with the same gesture, Milan Lucic apparently was taking notes. During a regular season meeting in Montreal against a well-known Boston rival team, Lucic, after receiving a boarding penalty, decided to rub things in just a little. Since the Bees also defeated Montreal in the first round, en route to their last Stanley Cup, Lucic thought it would be a perfect time to remind all Habs fans who ran away victorious, by raising his own imaginary cup before sitting down in the sin bin. Following the game for his actions, Lucic was fined $5,000. Now obviously this incident is a little lower on the spectrum because, in a sense, Lucic was just sticking up for himself, but went about it all wrong. Following a questionable up-high hit from Thrashers defenseman at the time, Freddie Meyer, chaos immediately ensued as a 5-on-5 brawl broke out towards the remaining minutes of the third period. As Meyer found himself tangled up with Andrew Ferentz, Lucic decided to get a little revenge by giving the Blue Liner a headshot, while it was most convenient. And to only put the icing on the cake for Lucic anyways, he decided to display a certain offensive gesture towards the Thrashers bench, while en route to his own. Lucic found himself getting a slap on the wrist via the league following the game and was fined $3,500. During his sophomore season in the NHL with the Boston Bruins, Lucic was quickly gaining the reputation of being the bruising forward he's known as today. And Game 2 of the 2009 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens was no different. During the remaining minutes of the third period, following some back-and-forth action between Lucic and Matthew Snyder, Maxime Lapierre, who had been a thorn in the Bees' side thus far, quickly came to his teammates' aid. As soon as Lapierre approached Lucic, he was viciously cross-checked in the head by the power forward. For his actions, Lucic was made to sit the next game out as he was dealt a one-game suspension. During his first season with his new club on the other side of the continent, Lucic was still allegedly up to his old tricks, or shall I say, dirty plays. This one happened during a regular season meeting against the Arizona Coyotes. Lucic, while being the usual net front presence on the man advantage, lost his composure while doing so. As things began to get chippy near the crease, Connaughton decided to give the forward a subtle whack on the hand, and Lucic took no exception to the slash, and immediately retaliated by sucker punching the blue liner. After Connaughton fell to the ice, Lucic also decided to take verbal shots at Coyotes netminder at the time, Louis Domingue, en route to the dressing room. Following the game, the one that he was ejected from, Lucic received a one-game suspension. And the most recent incident on this list that happened near the beginning of this season took place in Columbus. During the first few minutes of the second period, as a scrum ensued, near Calgary's cage, the product of Cole Sherwood taking an after-whistle jab at the puck, Lucic quickly came to his netminder's aid by clocking the forward with a sucker punch. As Lucic was led away after receiving a double minor on the play, CBJ's fans were sure to let the forward feel their distaste. While Lucic was able to finish out the game, he wouldn't be doing so in the next one or two for that matter, as he was dealt a 2-game suspension as punishment. By now I'm sure you've realized that if Lucic had a known middle name, it would definitely be Sucker Punch, cause this guy sure loves to dish them out. And it was midway through the third period during a regular season meeting in Tampa against the Lightning that he did just that. As soon as the forward took the ice, he immediately singled out rookie Matthew Joseph due to his questionable hit on Chris Russell, which went uncalled. He did so by first slashing the forward unsuspecting and then knocking him to the ice and proceeding to repeatedly punch him. This time though, Lucic got lucky and received only a fine of $10,000 from the league, which is pocket change when you're making 7 figures. I'm sure you all were just waiting on this one. You know you were. Cause when you go out of your way to brutally run over a netminder for no reason, well, let's just say it's remembered. And it was Ryan Miller who remembered everything and a little more following the altercation. The Sabres netminder at the time, who reportedly suffered a concussion on the play, didn't let that stop him from throwing shade at Lucic through the media, and decided to use some explicit language while describing his perpetrator, while also saying, 50 pounds on me and he just runs me like that. It's unbelievable. Everyone in the city sees him as a big, tough, solid player. I respected him for how hard he played. That was gutless. Lucic walked away scot-free following a conference call with Senior Vice President of Player Safety and Hockey Operations at the time, Brendan Shanahan, who had this to say about the altercation. I felt until that moment it's reasonable that he really felt that this was a potential breakaway, Shanahan says. He should have made more of an effort to get out of the way. The reason this isn't, in my mind, supplemental discipline is because Lucic makes no movement towards Miller, he says. Even still, I think it's fair to say that the regular season meeting that took place between Boston and Buffalo on the 12th of November, almost a decade ago, will be remembered most for this very moment.